I'm Tinny from minibulldesign, and I'm back out here in the factory this afternoon. Now, people asked to do a boil test of the maybe stove, so I'm going to do that. And once I get this, show you how to fire this up and get this going, then I want to tell you a story. So let's get this baby fired up. Okay, I've got a remote here, and this one I'm experimenting. I've got large line on it. Doesn't seem to make a lot of difference. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the remote and I'm going to hold it up in the air, and there, I'm going to feel this wick. Now, when the wick first starts wet out, it'll first wet out on the side with the tubing. Don't give up there. Tilt it down a little bit. Make sure it's wet all the way around, and then hold it up until you see a stream of it going down into the internal safety base. Okay. Now, I really overdid it on that one. Oh boy, this is going to be a mess. Most people will cut this out, but I think it's more fun to just show it to you. Okay, this is well primed, to say the least. Let me light this up and put the top on and turn the lights out so you can see what's going on here. Okay, what are we doing here? We got, okay, you gotta light the top, put the top on. Okay, now this is just starting out. It's going to take a couple of minutes for this to come up to temperature. And I did put quite a bit of alcohol down in the internal safety base. I like that feature. That thing is like 3/8 of an inch deep. And it holds a fair amount of alcohol, so it really helps to get it up to temperature. Okay, I'm going to put the legs on here and put a pot on it. Okay, now I'm going to put 3 cups of water in this pot. I mean 2 cups of water in this pot. And this water is about 60-something degrees because that's the temperature in here. And I'm going to wait till this comes up to full temperature before I put it on and start my stopwatch. And we'll see how long it takes to boil 2 cups of water. Okay, while that's coming up to temperature, yeah. Now at this point in time, if you see any yellow in there, just pick your remote up until it's gone. Put a little more on the base. And once it's fully up to temperature, if you see any yellow, your remote's not high enough. Your wick has got some places it isn't wetted out. So that's worth knowing. This stove has a personality, say the least. Okay, you can see I've got alcohol. I spilled all alcohol underneath it. That's catching on fire. Okay, I'm going to put the pot on there. That's a good start. I'm going to start my stopwatch. Okay, we'll come back to that when that's boiling. Let me turn the lights back on and tell you my story. I love telling stories. Okay, I don't know whether any of you guys can remember or not, but quite a few years back I was using Heineken bottles, Heineken cans, and Heineken sued me, bottom line, for using their cans and using their name. That was a bad scene. I got out of that relatively unscathed, but beware. Okay, so when I opened up my email about 20 minutes ago, and there was a letter there from Patrick Hurst from Sawyer Industries. They make the ones that make the Sawyer filter that I make the adapter for. And the letter said, we see that you're making accessories for a Sawyer's filter. I thought, oh no. oh no. And I read on and it says, we've just come out with a 2-ounce filter, little tiny, half as big as the other filter. And we're wondering if you would like to have one to try out in your backpack. Well, that was unexpected. So I wrote him back and said, yeah, I'd love to have one. He just maybe 10 minutes ago emailed me back and said, great, we'll get one right in the mail to you. And would you be interested in selling them on your website? So I wrote him back and said, yeah, I'd love to sell them on my website. Little tiny Sawyers, yeah, they're good for like 100,000 gallons. They're like 2 ounces, yay big. Yeah, I'd love to sell them on my website. Great! So there we are there. That's just all part of being a famous backpacker. Okay, I'm going to shut the camera off, and when this comes up to a boil, I'll turn the camera back on. This is what it should look like when it's wide open, when it's up to temperature and wide open. The flame comes in, fades out about 3/4 inch from the edge of a 10-centimeter pot. And that's the right amount of alcohol because you see it's not burning orange. You get a little orange thing there, but I mean the flame isn't burning orange, and you look down into it, it's not orange. And you can see I've got 3/4 and 1/4, that's 1 inch, 1.3 inches. I've got about 1 3/8 inch and a half of shim under my remote to feed it. So you can go by that when you guys get yours and want to set it up. And don't forget to overflow it and get some into the internal safety base to help warm it up. That's fairly important. You may even have to do that once it gets going to warm it up. Okay, I'll turn it back on when this boils. Okay, there we go. There's the flame. It just started to boil, and it's 7 minutes and 30 seconds. And you can see she's... let me turn the light on here. There we go. She's boiling like mad. 7 minutes and 30 seconds for about 60-degree water. It's probably a little colder than that, but I'm going to call it 60-degree water. Okay, so that's the boil with it wide open. Let me show you the flame with the... There you go. There's the wide open flame. Okay, now this stove is hot. When I flip this to low, this isn't immediately going to go to low. It's going to take a while. You can see it goes back quite a bit, but that's not going to go right back to what I call simmer for maybe as much as 2 minutes, depending on how hot it is. But it will go back. It'll slowly creep back. You can see it's already slowing down. So I'll turn the camera back on when this is on simmer, and then I'll explain to you how long it takes to boil water on simmer. And I think you'll get a good laugh out of that. Okay, it's been a couple of minutes. Now, that's low. Now, how long will it take to boil water on low? I don't even need to do a test on it. I can tell you right up front. It will never boil water on low. There's not enough heat. It'll keep the water warm, but it won't boil it, ever. In order to boil it, you're going to have to open it up some. Maybe like that. That'll boil water, in 20 minutes. But low, like that, no, not going to happen. Low is never going to boil it. And if you start opening it back up, there. That's probably, 15-minute boil right there. That's about right for baking. Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn this off. Flip my remote. Now, people have been asking me to show them all the equipment in here. So I'm going to start right by the front door with the first piece of equipment and tell you everything I know. And there's some comical stories because most of this equipment is been with me for like 10 years, a lot of it, and it's an old friend. So I have stories about everything. So let's go look at the first piece. Okay, there's the front door, and here's the first piece of equipment. Now, this is what they call a mini mill. Where to go on this? It takes R8 collets. The spindle's about, 1 inch. I use this almost exclusively for as a drill machine for precision drilling stuff. The reason why I don't use it for anything else is because I originally bought this when I was making the original Voodoo. You cult members probably remember the original Voodoo. That was the beginning, the very beginning of aluminum stoves that were made out of aluminum stock with a silicone. Okay, and when I was doing the Voodoos, I was milling little slots in for legs like I do on the maybe stove and the M100 and the M80 with an 1/8" mill bit. That's a pretty small mill bit. Now, I discovered milling with the 1/8" mill bit with this, that if you took like an 1/8 of an inch cut, that instead of making a nice clean cut, it would tend to drift and shake, and you wouldn't get an accurate cut. That was with an 1/8" piece. If you took a 1/16 cut, you could do pretty good. So my original intent for this was to buy a CNC package, put 0 backlash lead screws in it, and use it for a CNC to make parts. Oh, John, no, you don't understand. This mill is so flimsy, floppy, small that in order to do any kind of work at all that I would want to do, I'd have to use a 3/16 bit. This mill with a 3/16 bit, if you're taking a cut with any speed cut rate at all, a 1/32 cut is just about all she's going to handle before she starts to wander like a 5-year-old boy lost in the mall. This is not a very good mill. If you were making model railroad parts where you're making like 3/4 inch high picket fence out of brass and detailing cars and stuff, it'd be great. But if you start getting in and making 1/16 cuts with an 1/8" mill, it'll start wandering and chattering on you. It's just although it looks pretty rigid, it's just not rigid enough. Milling really requires a lot of rigidity. And the original lead screws in it are about 1/4 of a turn of backlash in them at the very best. So you'd have to take the lead screws out and put in 0 backlash lead screws with probably with ball bearings or something, and then you still wouldn't have anything because the amount of work this could do is. But for a precision drilling machine with a 2-axis rotary table on it, this rotary table I can keep it drill vertical, or I can flip it up and do horizontal. That's wow. I use that every day. I'm always flipping this back and forth. In fact, I'm thinking about buying another one, putting another table on this so I can have one vertical and one horizontal. Because every time I flip it up, then I got to loosen it up, slide it over, and zero this. And it can be fairly time consuming. Now for that, it's great. For milling, forget it. I was so disappointed in this, I could not believe how bad it was. So for any of you guys out there thinking about buying one of these mini mills and putting a CNC package on it, bad idea. No, go to the next size up. Trust me. You'll thank me later. If you're going to do any kind of, no. I was going to make Voodoos on it, CNC. No. I saw right away, that's not going to happen. Now, if you're cutting PVC, something soft, you can do pretty good. But when you get into really hard metal like aluminum, nope, not going to happen. Tomorrow I'll show you my shear. I'm Tinny from minibulldesign. Get out and hike, take a friend, enjoy the great outdoors, and more important than anything, try to have some fun today and try to have a really great day. Bye-bye. Oh, and it's 50 degrees out, overcast, and windy. Burr.